Hey, welcome back. If you joined me on the last video, I used ChatGPT's new image generation software to create a variant logo for Parish Made. We then put that on a veg tan leather patch and finished it out. So if you want to check that video, I'll put it in the description. So this is going to be a follow-up video that's going to be showing how to put the durable adhesive on the patch and then put the patch on the hat. It's a similar process to the leatherette itself, but slightly different. So I'll show you the differences. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so it's the next day, and we're fully dried off here. Um, you could see before it was super dark when we were looking at it. It lightens up quite a bit, and it kind of bows out a little. I went ahead and put the adhesive on there. Basically, I just put the shiny side down, put it on the hat press with the shiny side, well, with the paper side facing up and the leather facing down so that the heating element is coming down on it. Do that for 30 seconds. I take it off. Now it's bent because it's on the hot press. So I turn it back over and do it for another 10 seconds. So it's actually kind of evens it back out. So I'm going to do a pretty simple finish on this because I like the way that looks on the hats. It kind of gives it a more, saddle sort of a finish look, and then it'll weather over time as you wear it. So what we're going to be doing is some tokenol burnishing gum on the edges right here, and then we're going to use with this tool to burnish the edges, and then on the actual flat part we're going to use this canvas piece, and that should, I guess, push the burnishing gum far enough in there, and then it also kind of gives it sort of a buffing sort of a situation. So we'll just take this out. I actually like to go ahead and just turn this upside down and just get it on the lid. So you get a lot on the lid there. So I'm not dipping my finger into that. So you just, that's probably a little bit much, but just get a little bit on your finger and kind of run it along the edge here. And I like to knock it down kind of flat with the bigger one first. And mind you, I am not like a leather working expert by any stretch, so if I'm doing this wrong, let me know. But it seems to come out pretty good. So once I do that, then I kind of switch over to the slightly smaller one, and then I kind of round over the edges a little bit more. So just kind of do this to your liking, but it doesn't take it very long. I mean, that's already smooth. I don't know if you can see that compared to how rough that is. So that didn't take hardly any time at all. So just continue this process all the way around. And as far as, finishing the top part, this time I'm using tokenol, but depending on what finish you actually want or what the purpose of it is, you may finish it with something that's a little more of a sealer, like an acrylic based Resolene or something like that. Tan coat would kind of soak into it, to my understanding, a little bit more, but does seal it a bit more than this burnishing gum does. But again, I like the overall feel of this, and it kind of gives it just a more natural feel and look. And if you're used to putting, leatherette patches on things, this is already leaps and bounds as far as durability goes, but also as far as it looks authentic. So that's kind of the point, I think, going to all this trouble is to making it look authentic. So the more you dye it and work with it and mess with it, to me it kind of loses that a bit. So all right, so that's pretty good. Just kind of run your finger around all around the edge, kind of like sanding a woodworking piece. Just make sure you don't have any burrs or rough spots anywhere. If you feel anything, kind of just go back over it slightly. Doesn't take a lot. All right, now we've got that. Let's just take this. And again, I'm kind of slathering this on compared to what I see some people do with it. but I'm really trying to get down because I did a pretty heavy engrave to go down into it, almost like it's tooling a little bit. So I really want to work this down in there, and plus kind of working it in kind of darkens the color just a hair, and you can kind of control it a little bit with your finger as you're rubbing it in. So if you want it to be darker in the center and kind of work your way out or whatever, you can do that. Let's get a paper towel and get some of this excess. Whoops. Get some of this excess off here. All right, now, still kind of wet to the touch. We're going to take our canvas pad here and just essentially buff / sand. So I like to go at it in a diagonal fashion here and then go back the opposite way. So we need a little bit more down there. I didn't really... That's the thing about veg tan leather too, you know, I mean, it is from a cow, so it's not exactly consistent all the way around as far as how it soaks in, and you kind of have to coax it a little bit sometimes, and sometimes kind of just scratching a little bit and roughing it up, not enough to where it marks it, but it just kind of lets the pores open up a little bit, and you'll see it get down in there. And obviously this has water in it, so it's going to darken up now and then lighten up just a hair later. But more or less what you see is what you get as far as the gradient goes. All right. Looks pretty good. I like to, when there's like bigger, wider leathering like this, I like to get my fingernail. Don't go crazy with this because you don't want to really like tool it. But just kind of just enough to where it falls down in the engraving a little bit as you're rubbing it, and it kind of ends up buffing the center part of the engraving itself, and then as you're kind of putting pressure where the letters are, it actually kind of pushes it in just a little bit into the leather, so it almost kind of gives it like the stamped sort of effect to it. But again, just be careful, don't try to tool it with your fingernail too much, just get down in there. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so we're gonna let this dry completely and kind of cure up, harden, whatever it does, but you will kind of notice a different feel to it. It's kind of tacky right now, but eventually it'll just feel like, you know, a saddle or a boot or something like that. So I think that came out pretty good. All right, so whatever that cures up, I'll get back to you and we will stick this on the hat, see what it looks like. All right, and we're back. It is fully dried and cured. It's got a nice little sheen to it, but it still feels soft like leather. So go ahead and peel off the backing here, which likes to just come off by itself, kind of. All right, and then we're going to put our microfiber towels in here. Get it on our platen. Make sure to pull this in a little bit so that you're at the edge there. All right, pull that down. I like to make sure that it's positioned so that it's kind of straight up. So you can see that a little better. There we go. So it's straight up and down like that. And we'll go ahead and throw our silicone mat on top. Oops, looks like it moved. There we go. All right, so we're gonna let that preheat. That way it'll activate the glue when we put it on there. Because the thing about these thicker patches that are veg tan like this, it's harder for the heat to transfer down through. We've got a heated platen on the bottom, but since we've got those microfiber towels in there, it's going to absorb some of the heat, so we want to make sure that it gets as hot as possible. Alright, so we're going to work this a little bit so that it has some sort of curved shape to it. Position it on our hat here. Looks pretty good. For this one, because it's a little wobbly, I'm going to put, though I really don't love doing this, I'm going to put some tape on it because I don't want it to move. But the downside to doing this on a veg tan with just token oil on it, and it probably does it with other finishes on it, is that when we pull this off, there's probably going to be a line right there from where the adhesive was. But we can fix that. It's not a big deal. Alright, we want to make sure that the edge of the heat press gets to the very bottom of the piece. I'm not sure that it did, so I want to pick it back up and see. Let's make sure that we get the bill. Oh boy, gotta love these cheap hat presses. There we go. You get what you pay for, but when there's a difference between $150 and $1,050, I think we can live with the $150 one for a little while. Alright, let's see how this came out. It's kind of lifting just a hair, so I'm going to run it through the second pass just to make sure it's on there good. Alright, that should be good enough. Press down the corners. Make sure you use a glove or a microfiber towel or something, because it will burn your fingers. Alright, so let's see. I bet we have a line. Slightly. Not crazy. If you've still got your canvas mat with some of the dried token oil on it, while this is still hot, just kind of rub on it again. Kind of buff that back out if you can. We'll wait till this cools off and put a little bit more if we need to. Now, while this is still hot, I suggest you shape this just a hair. Don't go crazy, don't want to poke anybody in the head, but we also don't want it to be completely flat, because obviously when it's on your head, it's going to be a little curved. So let's make sure you get a little curvature to it. Much harder to do whenever it's cooled. So, okay. That looks pretty good. We're going to let it cool off and just double check that it's stuck really well in the corners, but it should be okay. So we'll check back whenever we get it cooled off. Okay, so we got it done here. It's a pretty simple design, which in my opinion with the veg tan, you want to keep it kind of simple. It has a more old school kind of a look to it. You can do a lot of different things with veg tan. I mean, I'm using this for a hat patch here because I had a little scrap piece, but I mean, this is about the same size as like a keychain would be. You could do bookmarks out of it, even magnets, all sorts of stuff. So, you know, if you've got leftover, use it. Don't throw it away. You can make some money off of it. So if you'd like to see me do some other projects on veg tan, just let me know. Any kind of other finishes. I went pretty natural on this one, but if you'd like to see some more antiqued or, you know, acrylic sort of finishes, things like that, let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up and a subscribe if you can. Keeps me going, and I'll keep making more videos. So thanks, guys.